Hello guys, it is your boy Prince of What is back here with the fifth part of this wonderful series. I didn't post yesterday because I was kind of focusing on finishing up like the plot of the story entirely, meaning that the One Piece what if for this is completely done, so I can now just release it day by day if I don't get too lazy. But anyway, you guys seem to love the series. Thank you so much for the support. Seriously, y'all are giving it so much attention. I love y'all. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell to stay up to date on all my future videos. And for those on my second channel, very soon, and by very soon I mean probably tomorrow, I'll be releasing the first part of What If Naruto had kind of increased powers, but with a little twist. So if you know my second channel, you're from this channel, go and subscribe to it. Wait for me. Alright, let's go with the recap. Let's begin with the scene of Kobe showing his abilities by fighting and destroying a pirate ship on his own. We went to Aldebarna where Vivi and Koza are brought to meet Cobra. There was also Luffy and Ace, and Luffy would tell them his plan and the plan to have his crew just basically confront Crocodile and get everyone to spill the beans. Zoro specifically gets Crocodile to say the truth. The country learns everything and the Straw Hats become its heroes, heroes of Alabasta. Chopper even shows his skills as a doctor by completely healing the former rebels who have a lot of bad injuries. Afterwards, the Straw Hats are on their way out of Skypiea. Out of Alabasta to Skypiea. Luffy uses his Bankai to give Mary wings, and it takes them to the skies. There, they would then meet Connie and head to the they just head to wherever they can. They could go to the Angel Beach. That's where they end up being. They would not notice Enru's presence, but Luffy, however, would and would mess with them a little bit. Nami would then ride off on a waiver when they meet Coney over there. And she would then go to Upper Yard, save someone from the priest. And as Enru's delusions are, just growing and growing, he ends up destroying his own home, killing some of his people, and he's then pulled down by Luffy and beaten to a pulp. But he did let Enru go. Luffy let Enru go as he returned back, and the priests were killed by Enru himself as he left for the moon on a ship. This led to the Sandorians finally getting their land back and getting the ring, the giant golden bell themselves. And down below, meanwhile, Ace finds and beats Blackbeard. And hours then pass before the silhouette of Mary has been, seen, and it has been proved that Cricket's ancestor Noland was actually right about the Sky City. The day after the Straw Hats descend to the sea, they are set for Water 7, looking for Cuddy Flam, aka Franky. After the return of Straw Hats, the world would go belly up on the discovery of the Sky Island. It was unbelievable, but this increased Luffy's bounty and already made the rising bounties of the Straw Hats crew rise again. These bounties would now be published by Big News Morgan himself as he walks about telling his underlings to put in as much detail as they can on the story. This is the beginning of a legend, and we need to capture every single thing we can. Sir, what about that Marine that's been rising through the ranks lately? His abilities are related to Straw Hat. The irony of the evil giving the good side a chance. I like it. Do a story on that little pink-haired boy for me. Yes, sir, getting right to it. Big News would then turn and see someone tell him that they had finished up on the bounty-related paper, and Big News Morgan would then come up and check it out himself, allowing him to check out the numbers. Now, Zoro, for being Crocodile, was now worth 96 million berries. He obviously exceeds that, but we're going to keep that there for now. Chopper, for being involved in the Baroque Works attack at all, and also having a run-in with the Marines in the past few days, would get a bounty of 50 million. The fact that he also can turn from cute to monstrous, with a poisonous syringe is kind of what makes him very dangerous, especially since he's the doctor of the crew. He knows a lot about the human body. Nami is worth 60 million for her powers, and being the navigator, Usopp is 57, I'll say 57 million. And Nico, the Devil Child, just being with Luffy gives her a bounty of 100 million since she is very dangerous. And the captain himself is now worth 1 billion. Man, this is going to be an amazing year, thought the reporter. Now we will do another time skip of 3 days. We go to Whitebeard, and on the Whitebeard ship, Ace would drop Teach before everyone. Damn, you did not hold back, did you? Said Marco. Damn right. He actually had a crew with him, so I had no choice. Sorry, Pops. No, how can I blame you? Good work, thanks. You hear the news lately, by the way? My little bro's making waves. As everyone gathers around the division captain, they say he sounds like a doting sibling, and the laugh of Whitebeard would then rile up his sons and daughters on the other ships. Pops, don't do too much, okay? Said one of his nurses. Sorry. Strongest swordsman, eh? I want a piece of action myself. Ace then remembers something and checks his pockets as he would then take out a note, and it becomes enveloped by Hawker right as he would then fly it to Whitebeard, who catches it. Yeah, you Fullbringers just making no sense, Jozu said. I just controlled the soul of the paper. It makes more sense when Luffy says it. However, at that moment, they all feel a spine-shivering presence and turn to see their pops grinning from ear to ear. Fearless little bastard, huh? What the hell did he say on there, thought Ace. We will now go to Water 7, but we will not focus on the Straw Hats. We will go to the first dock as we find the shipwrights working as usual. Whether it be carrying lumber, sawing, and working on blueprints, they do it all. However, as Polly takes a slight break from everything, he finally noticed that people were actually erratically running away. Hey, is something wrong? He asked. Talston would then lay down some wood and stand, saying, I don't know, maybe it's the heat. It's not. Hearing the voice of Iceberg, the shipwrights would then stop the work and turn to see him, but freeze upon seeing who was with him and Khalifa. This would be Luffy and Nami. Hello there, we came for an upgrade. What the hell is he doing here? They all thought. Walking into the area, the pirates would then say hello as Luffy would then shake the hand of Polly, who he felt was shivering. Nice to meet you, sir. Sir, I'm like 17. Seriously, you look old. Nami would then burst into laughter, much to the surprise of everyone, and she says that everyone kind of says that. Luffy's not gonna bite, you know. If he came to hurt you guys, you wouldn't be alive right now. Well, that's a terrifying, but good point, says Iceberg. I will have you treat them like any other customer. Yes, please, trust me, we came here strictly for business. Nami? Holding her hand out, she would then form her armor before creating her sack, which would then slam to the ground, causing a loud boom from the thud, and they can all see shimmering golden light from it. Now, let's talk about the ship, said Luffy. Taking off his hat, he would then show a small like figurine atop his head, and he takes this off his head and asks that everyone make space. As they do, despite being confused, Luffy would lay down the figurine and back away, as he would then dispel the bankai, causing the figurine to cartoonishly poof before revealing the giant Mary. How the hell? The citizens who were passing by would be surprised by what they just saw and were kind of confused, but the shipwrights would approach the ship and caress it and check out the structure to find that their eyes weren't deceiving them. So this is why you're rumored to have a ghost ship, said Luffy. Luffy would then nod, and with a slight bow he says that this is his way of showing good faith, and honestly the men are quite surprised. He just let out like a big secret as to why pirates can't find them. So they're still suspicious, but clearly he's just trying to just get something done and go. In respect of this, Polly would then reach out his hand for another shake. I want a genuine one, if you don't mind. With a smile, Luffy would then grab his hand, and this time Polly isn't shaking, as Khalifa would then sigh, telling Iceberg, I thought he would cause a ruckus. He's quite tame for someone worth $1 billion. When you live long enough, you get to see crazy things, said Iceberg. However, as they break the shake, Luffy would then ask, is there a man named Franky you know of? I heard he made his family of sorts here. I'd like for him to be involved in the building of the ship. That guy? He's talented, but he's just uncooperative, said Lulu. I still had to include him. You can keep the money, but let me persuade him. It's your ship, man. Luffy would then thank them for their understanding and start leaving, while Nami would then follow behind, and as they reached the streets, people would try not to look them in the eye, but because they didn't want to cause trouble, they just kind of back away a little bit. They wonder if they're really as ruthless as Marines make them out to be, and they would just be like, the shipwrights would be like wondering, did that seriously just happen? For a moment, I thought that our heads were going to go flying off. Simply act like you would with anyone. Clearly, he's got some common sense, said Iceberg. We will now go elsewhere with Robin, in an underground place she had been invited to. She sits before a masked man with a voice she distinctly recognized and could not stand. How about it? Asked Spandam. No. Do you think just because you're with Straw Hat that you're free? They'll betray you soon anyway. Fear-mongering. Nice. If it was anyone else, I would believe you, but the things I've seen, the things I've experienced with Luffy, tells me that you were even more terrified to be here. The masked man would then freeze, being caught in his lying facade, as Robin would chuckle. This would anger Spandam, who goes to slam his hand on the table just as a hologram of Luffy would then show and stand on that very same table. What the? He would then back away and land behind the chair, just kind of crashing, and Robin would then look at her chest to see that Luffy had planted what he called the Garganticam. Well, that was inappropriate, she'd say. Sorry, but I'm glad I planted it. CP9, huh? I suggest you leave. First off, Pluton belongs to no one. How do you? I know too much for your feeble brain to understand. There are so many intricate plots, so many things I know about you that you don't even know about yourself. For example, your other buddies, I've met them. They're pretty professional, but there's no way I didn't notice them. Bluno, Rob Lucci, Kaku, and Khalifa, was it? Am I missing anyone? Spandam is so terrified, and I was just scared how Luffy knows everything. He doesn't really know how to react, and as he just drags away on the floor just to back away, he would then say, you're messing with the world government, Straw Hat. Even you can't handle that. You don't know what you're getting into. Robin would then watch this and just be left shocked by how terrifying her captain is, as she would then chuckle and think, I wonder how many of these things he's put around. By the way, for context, you will never know when Luffy just puts these devices around, even as if you were. That's how secretive and good they are. He could just plant one without people knowing, even if it just passes by them. But after scaring Spandam, he would then say, so you have 2 days to leave. I don't care how, but just do, or you will be killed one by one. Goodbye. The hologram then cuts out as Robin would then stand, saying, so I'm going to leave. Sorry, but I don't think we can work something out. She would then walk to the door of the underground base and make her way out before slamming it shut. Right as Spandam would then quickly take out a golden transponder, and his hand would then slowly hover over it. He's dangerous. Too dangerous, he said, before he then taps the buster call, and we then zoom away to see Luffy watching him do this on a screen. Luffy wasn't even in town anymore. He was sitting by a rock at the shore just watching and surveying everything from multiple screens as he said, "What an idiot. That's what you want, I guess it is what it is. I'll thoroughly destroy the world government." He would then deactivate the device right as Zoro would then walk up from behind. "Hey, can we train? Actually, I need you to come with me somewhere." As Luffy lands and starts walking off, Zoro would then groan and he falls behind, asking where they're going, and Luffy would say they're going to meet Cutting Flam. But he's renamed himself as Franky, so don't say anything else for safety purposes. "Well, knowing you, he'll probably be interesting," said Zoro, "so why not?" Luffy would then say he is, and so they go to the Franky family hideout, as Zoro would then open the door, allowing Luffy to walk in, and all the Franky family would just turn to face him, including Franky himself, and he would yell, "Straw Hat, what are you doing here?" With every step he takes forward, Luffy would then look around and just keep analyzing everything, and as large in numbers as they were, the Franky family of course weren't going to move. They were scared as hell. Franky would then meet Luffy face to face, but tries to keep up his courage, so he crosses his arms and yells, "The hell do you want?" Whoa, big bro Franky's kind of fearless, huh? Luffy would then return this with him holding his hand out. "Want to join my crew?" Luffy is quite surprised. Franky, my bad. Franky is quite surprised by the offer and asks why the hell he wants him to join. Luffy would then say that he wanted a good shipwright to join him. "We came here for an upgrade of our ship," said Zoro. "Seriously, don't argue. I swear you're gonna join." "What the hell is that supposed to mean?" yells Zamba, and one of the twins would then shout, "Yeah, you're gonna try to take big bro Franky from us? Well, you can feel free to join too," said Luffy, "but I need you to work on my ship. You." He would then lower down his hands and just, start to walk off, leaving the room in complete silence until they just leave and Zoro closes the door behind them. "What the hell was that about?" yells Franky. "Make a ship for him? He barely knows me." "Yeah, but that's like an amazing offer. We gotta at least think about it a little bit." "You're not wrong. I know for a fact he's loaded. We can always get that thing we always wanted," said Franky. "But what about joining his crew? What do you think about that?" asked Tamagon. Remembering that Luffy did ask him to join his crew, they then start to think about it while a day would pass. By then the pirates would rent some rooms in some hotels, and as the sun rises, Luffy would then get out of bed and take a seat at the edge of it, before then standing and walking to his window. He takes in the fresh air and the sunrise, but however, his observation would then pick up something as, in the blink of an eye, he appears atop the rooftop of his hotel, and using flash step once again, he heads to the highest building, and will begin to cackle. "This should be coming soon. Let's see how long it takes for me." Down below, meanwhile, Franky would be heading to the first dock, as early birds would be making way for him, wondering why he was even here. But the shipwright doesn't really care, and just thinks about the money until he arrives at the gates of the workshop, where he is met by Polly and Lulu, who are standing guard. "Really came, huh?" said Polly. "Hey, I'm working to get some sweet deals over here. Can I go in now? Unless you want to have Straw Hat on your tail." With a scout, Polly would then just hold back his anchor barely, as he and Lulu would then open the gate, allowing him in, and he would see Mary. No wonder he wants some help. This thing's big, but it's not meant for battles or the sea. Around the ship, he would then see other shipwrights who were looking at him. They were waiting for him, but when they see him actually arrive, they feel some type of way. But then one of them would then ask, "Hey, anyone see Rob? Actually, I didn't find Kaku either. It's kind of weird." As they mumble about this, Iceberg would then walk in asking about Khalifa, and quickly everyone's attitude changes. "She's always waking you up at a certain time. She considers it like a ritual," said Tailstone. Where could they be? They were honestly kind of scared, and they were worried. At that moment, giant horns would then go off, and everyone would then hear just something loud, and it would say, "For inhabiting Straw Hat Luffy and his crew, the land of the Water 7 would not be subject to a buster call." Everyone becomes wider as the streets would become filled with panic. Worried guardians, lovers, or families would wake each other up and start to run to higher ground as marine ships would then approach. The Stars were then alerted by the mere presence of not only vice admirals but two admirals that were present, and as they quickly wake up and get ready for a fight, Robin meanwhile would then make her way out to her balcony and see a cannonball be shot at them, only for Zoro to drop from the sky and cleave it right in half as it splits. That crazy bastard, why would he do this, Robin thought. Now having somewhat begun to understand her Fullbringer, powers, they're kind of transforming, she's coming into it, Robin can actually truly feel how powerful Kizaru and Aokiji were. They possessed a lot of power, and as they approach, the two admirals would then arrive at the shore. Kizaru arrives by light, while Aokiji would then glide on some wave of ice, and as Luffy then appears before them in his jammies. "Oh, pleasure to meet you, Straw," said Kizaru. In the blink of an eye, he then appears before Luffy as he coats his leg in hockey, only to be pierced in the chest by Luffy's blade. However, he finds that this was only just an image in his mind, and it didn't actually happen, so he backs away thinking, "Was that bloodlust? He's scary, huh?" He then instantly releases beams of light at Luffy, holds his hand out, and with a swing, he blows it all away using a push of hockey before then saying, "Bakudo 61, Riku Jokoro." Kizaru is then bound and restrained by thin white beams made of light, leaving him shocked, as well as Aokiji, who watches as his comrade would then fall to his knees, unable to get free. "This is impossible," Kizaru thought. In the blink of an eye, however, Luffy then appeared behind Aokiji, who was bound by the same Kido. "Ugh, these are pretty made out of hockey. How can he even conjure light to begin with?" thought Aokiji. The people then walk closer to the shore as the Marines make their way on their ships, some weird ships that are like to waivers, and they ride on them while some of them use their devil fruits to propel themselves forward. However, as the Vice Admirals approach, they become terrified right as Luffy would then lift his arms to the air and to his side. I heard Mihawk has the strongest slash in the world. I have a taste of mine. I'll name it Soul Sever. In that instant, all those aboard the ships would spew blood and be blown to the skies by a shockwave, and an invisible slash would then cut all their ships horizontally in half. Instantly, the two admirals would then turn to see this and are left horrified as he begins to explain his technique, saying, "Don't worry, they aren't actually going to be physically hurt, but their soul has taken damage. That is far worse than any physical damage you could ever encounter." Sanpakuto, so that's why it's named that. That's the base of Kyokai Getsu's abilities, Aokiji said. Oh, you remember his name. Now, what should I do with you? As he approaches, quickly the admirals try to get away but find that they are frozen, as Luffy would then say that he was letting them move before. And with every step he comes closer to the admirals, they would feel sick to their stomachs from his conqueror spirit rising and rising, and an explosion of lightning then occurs. The supreme color of Haki Takizaru. Though he's normally the calm-headed one and almost sociopathic to a degree, he was shaking like crazy. Luffy would just walk past them, and the pressure would then release as he would then sheath his sword. He would then look up to see CP9 members running to the city and smile, saying, "Fucking fearless, huh? Leave. I'm sure men need you." The Kido was then broken, allowing the two to back away while releasing powerful attacks, which is then once again blown away by Luffy, who would then turn saying, "Leave before I get mad." They become more shaken, but now know they cannot win and would just run the opposite way, like they gave up instantly, as Aokiji would then quickly begin to freeze everything to help people hang on to at least something, even if it was cold. And the funny thing is, he thought, I should be thanking him. That dumbass Ben's really getting on my nerves, thought Aokiji. In the city, meanwhile, those at the top, the highest kind of level in Water 7, watched what happened to the ships and know for a fact it must have been Luffy, but they were just left in disbelief. The shipwrights, however, are then alerted by Iceberg, who then sets to take cover right as something then crashes beside Mary and shakes everything. The dust is then blown away to show Blue Note in a black suit as he is kicked back by Sanji away from their precious ship. What the hell are you doing here? Hey, Blue Note, you're not working the board today? What's going on? Looking off to the one who said this, however, the agent would then use a wind blade and launch it at the shipwright, making everyone scream right as Sanji would then appear before them and kick the attack to nothing. Impossibly, he's flying. Upon being forced to, Sanji would now be using Bringer's Light as he would then now be bouncing on air like nothing. I'm guessing this is the third stage. I'm gonna pummel you. If you find me, then sure, said Blue Note, as he goes to open a door using his devil fruit, when in the blink of an eye, his viewpoint is twisted, with him then seeing everything upside down while he is now in the sky. He was sent flying into the air by a rapid kick from Sanji, whereas he's then lit ablaze by his flames and screams in agony, thinking, impossible, how did he catch me? Slowly, all around Water 7, people were forced to realize that those they had admired weren't actually who they said they were. They began to destroy Water 7 as a distraction, so at least they could get to Robin in a desperate attempt to win all of this somehow. Now, as he runs through the streets, Usopp would then see many people running away from a giant falling building and was coming right towards them. Instantly, he forms his full bring and gathers as much haki as he can, saying, condense, come on. Wait, maybe did I just shoot more than one? Despite all the craziness happening around, despite the screams of men, children, and women filling the streets, as they run past him, Usopp just concentrates and keeps his eyes closed until he finally opens them and the building was very close to hitting, making many despair, but he says, multi-shot. Star Strike. A barrage of Ryatsu arrows would then hit and turn the building to smithereens. The shockwave of the attacks would even clear the rubble until it was clear skies, and the sniper would then fall to his knees. Don't mess with Captain Usopp. Slowly, those around would arise and gather to see Usopp struggle to get up, right as someone would then run past him and break all the silence. Usopp would almost buckle, but is then caught by Kiwi and Mozu, the family Franky twins. We'll help, said Mozu. Oh, thanks. Man, I haven't even eaten anything. I'm so tired. As for Robin herself, she'd be accompanied by Nami and Chopper as they'll be trying to get away to higher ground, right as behind them appears Raplucci. They would feel a shiver down their spine as he would then use finger pistols with both hands to attack, but upon hitting Nami and Chopper, his fingers would then bend back, leaving him surprised as he would then dodge a syringe from Chopper. He appears a few feet back and looks at his pointer finger shocked, before then looking forward and realizing what's going on. The infamous burglar. She's such a good thief that she can even rob the world of its laws. Nami, was it? Impressive. Thanks for the compliment, but you did just try to kill us, so you were gonna have to pay. Rob would then barf up blood at that moment, as Chopper would then say, just because he dodged a strike doesn't mean that he's okay. It's a bit wrong to do this, but I made some poison for you. The strongest of CP9 would then just throw up even more blood, trying to excessively stop using any force at all, trying to stay perfectly still, but he would just spew more and more and more. And he thought, these bastards, they're not even that strong. I've ingested the strongest poisons, trained myself to the utmost. What did he hit me with? He would then fall over as a nervous chopper would then fall to the ground with a sigh, and Robin would say, I'm sorry. This is all happening because of me. What are you talking about? This is fun. We're friends, right? Nami would say. To hear this from Nami would make Robin's heart feel like it was being squeezed, and they seemed to genuinely care since they just killed a CP9 member. That's the same thing as going against the government. And Chopper would say, wait, he's not dead. He's super tough, but, well, he won't wake up for a while. I'm still a doctor. Oh, right. Well, we should go find Luffy. Not needed. The voice of Luffy is heard as a hologram would then come from Robin, and he says that effective immediately, the CP9 members have been defeated. Zoro went a bit far and had too much fun. I guess I should have given him that spar, right? Wow, that is... What is happening? Are you a ghost? Chopper would yell. It's a projection, and though this may be a bit unpirate-like, can you help the citizens? They must be shocked. Oh, Roger, they'd say. As everyone soon calms down, the Stars would be surprised to see that the citizens actually are, kind of warming up to them, and the citizens are surprised to see them actually helping at all, except for Zoro, who will be sleeping after beating up all the other remaining CP9 members. And the CP9 were captured and restrained by Riku Jokoro and put in cells for now, as everyone is still shocked by them being government dogs. Afterwards, Iceberg would then, almost having his city fall by a buster call, would, call over the pirates that saved them, and he came to thank them. And as he bows to the pirates from his seat, Luffy would then say it's quite alright. I'm the reason they were here to begin with. Well, Robin and they're for me, but yeah, said Luffy. Right, the devil child. You know who she is, right? And you got something to say, Sanji? He gave off a bloodthirsty stare, and with a clear of his throat, Iceberg would then simply say that she is very sought after. We're willing to bear that, she's our crewmate. Which is why I think we need to send a message, said Luffy. What do you mean, that's Iceberg? As Luffy smiles, we cut to a few hours later as the Stars have been seating in Crazy Tom, the crazy train, in a circle where they drive towards Annie's lobby. We're gonna attack the world government, huh? Oh, this just keeps getting better and better, said Zoro. Do you have to? We could just leave, Luffy, said Robin. No, not after what they did. You belong with us. They need to get that through their thick skulls. He's doing all this for me? Really? I can't read him, thought Robin. I can't believe you're doing all this for one person, yells Franky, as everyone says they're surprised that he came at all. Hey, I stole my money, alright? That's the only reason. I completely understand, but that's a lie, Nami said, and Franky would then scoff, asking Luffy to explain the plan already, and everyone would see that he was clearly embarrassed. Alright. The plan's pretty simple. Barge in, destroy everything. It doesn't matter how. You don't need to kill anyone, but if your hands are forced, take a gander. He would then look around and everyone would then nod, and from here on out things will really be kicked up a notch. Upon arriving at the base, not only does Luffy split the giant gate, he and his crew would pillage and rampage despite the Marines' counterattack. They also picked the Trick Giants and brought them to their side, and by the end of it, not only were the Gorosei enraged, but now they were sure of one thing. Aside from Luffy's expert swordsmanship and control over Haki, he had somehow fed his sword the Gum Gum fruit. But how? It's impossible for that kind of thing to be handled by a blade, said an elder as he stood from his seat in anger, and another then said this may not necessarily be true. We don't know if he actually has the fruit. Oh please, that is simply denial of the power of fighting by using their imagination, along with that so-called Kyokatsu Getsu. It must be how he's doing everything. And his Haki, nothing about that child, that man is normal. But what should we do? Raising his bounty only gives him more attention. That's bad for us. Oh please, go right ahead. A voice would then echo through their meeting room right as they look forward to see a piece of space just be ripped apart, and from a void then walks into their meeting room Luffy. The others are left flabbergasted by what they just saw, but the pirate would just walk in like any other day, while the Garganta gate would then close behind him. So this is Mary Joie. Not as lustrous as I imagined, honestly. Just try it, Luffy, what are you doing here? This calls for execution, Luffy, however, would then look at the elder that just said this, and he would sit down and just become very quiet, as Luffy would then continue talking, saying, this air, or what I just deduce is the closest thing to the secret of your immortality, is not going to prevent me from killing you. My blade doesn't discriminate. How long have you lived? Thousands of years? Millennia? Probably during the Void Century. Looks like Joybo wasn't a fan of you, huh? Just how much does he know, they thought. Luffy would then take a seat across from them and crosses his legs, saying, feel free to raise my bounty after this talk. I feel you'll need to unless you still think that your precious Im can hurt me. How do you know this? Who are you? You came from the war, didn't you? Calm down, he's rallying us up. What do you want? Well, first off, you will stop coming after Robin, or Im will die. It's not that hard. If she's watching, I know she is, she should be aware that by this point, I'm not the man she can beat. I'm not normal, am I? As he looks to the ceiling, we then go to Im as she sits cross-legged in a room covered by vines and plants, and she looks into a crystal-like bowl. It's more of a camera, but just, looks like crystal. And the woman would then have a cloak covering her face, but she would remove the hood to show that she was not only a Cyclops, but she had eyes similar to Mihawk. And she would be bearing black hair with rosy red lips and a scowl as she thought, he's dangerous. Back in the meeting room, Luffy would then state his terms, which was that they could only keep sending Marines at him, but they just have to call off their search for Robin, or Mary Joao will be destroyed. Alright, have breakfast to go back to, said Luffy, as he then stands with a swipe and he opens up the Garganta and he takes a step in, but he looks back to see the terrified girl saying, "Oh, get over yourselves. Stay out of my way, and I'll stay out of yours." He would then close the door and walk in on the other side to find himself in a bathroom, which he then walks out of to see a room where Sanji, Nami, Kokoro, Usopp, Kami, Kokoro's little, I think it was her grandchild, they're just there. And also a horde of screaming citizens, fans are just trying to get in from outside. "Man, you took so long. What were you doing in there?" said Usopp. "What else would I be doing?" "What's going on out there?" said Luffy. "Well, you're heroes. Bizarre ones, but heroes nonetheless," said Kokoro. Luffy would then take a seat and starts to eat his breakfast, and is honestly pretty perplexed by all this. They should, for all intents and purposes, be fearing them. I guess that's one of the things I can't predict. Or maybe they're just bizarre. At that moment, Chopper and Robin would then force their way in and send the door behind with heavy breath, as Chopper would say, "These people were savages." This makes everyone chuckle, while Sanji would then say that he would make them go away, and while he proceeds to do so, Chopper would then walk to Luffy and salute. "We have Marines incoming, sir." "Oh, don't worry, they're friends." "Oh, is it Grandpa or someone like that?" said Nami. "Yeah, hopefully he won't make too much trouble." At that moment, all Straw Hats except for Luffy feel a shiver down their spine from a clash of haki, and with a sigh, Luffy would say never mind as he would then stand. We then cut to the shore of the city where we find Garp clashing fists with Zoro's Ashura blades while Kobe, Helmeppo, and the other Marines watch in amazement. "You're not bad, kid," said Garp. "How can his hit be so freaking heavy?" thought Zoro. Despite only hitting him once, somehow Garp's hit becomes more and more heavy, like mentioned, until he would stop and back away. He returns his arm to normal and says that he only came here to talk with Luffy. "Yeah, we're gonna have to get past me first." "No, stop, he doesn't want to fight," said Kobe. As he runs forward, and upon seeing the kid, Zoro would squint and look at him carefully because he felt he had seen him before. "Oh, it's me. Kobe? Huh? Isn't that a Vice Admiral Don't tell me." Zoro would then focus and sense an immense amount of haki, but specifically the frequency of it resembled that of a Fullbringer, and he lowers his blade and puts away Ashura. "No wonder you're Vice Admiral now. You have it too. You're a Fullbringer. Congrats." Scratching his head in embarrassment, the boy would then thank him as Garp would then yell for him to stand straight and stop being a sissy. "Sorry, sir," he says. He salutes, and Zoro would just think, even he's scared of this old man. He really is Luffy's gramps. The sound of a flutter is then heard at that moment, as Helmeppo would then point forward and tell everyone that Straw Hat had just arrived. Luffy would then land ashore using Flash Step and walk over to see Kobe as he smiles. "How did you like my gift?" Getting teary-eyed, Kobe would then say, "It's an honor to see you again, Luffy, but you should really warn me next time." As Luffy begins to laugh, Kobe would then as well, and the Marines just surprised to see them talking so normally, but with a scream, Garp would then interrupt them. "You idiot, do you have any idea what you've done?" "I'm well aware," said Luffy, as Garp would then approach and a blast of lightning releases as a dense orb of haki forms between the two. Their Conqueror's haki would then force everyone down to their knees as it clashes, and Luffy would then get mad at this, saying, "Calm down, you're hurting them. Make me. You'll be wishing you never said those words in a moment." The intensity between them grows, as does their haki, before Helmeppo will then yell, "What kind of family reunion is this?" As Garp looks down at Luffy, however, he of course chooses his grandson over his duty and relaxes, so Luffy does the same, making their haki dissipate. "We need to talk, alright? Just say that next time. That's the level I need to reach. How long is that gonna take? Years? Millennia?" thought Zoro, and he was almost salivating at the thought of him rising so high. Luffy and Garp would then pick up something and look at Zoro, as Garp would then say, "That was definitely it, right? Isn't my disciple amazing? If he can use it, then I wonder if Kobe can," thought Garp. However, because things had calmed down, the group would then head to where the Strats were staying, and Usopp would then return from watching Franky and the shipwrights work on the Mary. He gets filled in on everything, and he isn't surprised, but he's more surprised that there are Fullbringers in the Marines. Hitting Luffy on the head, he would then yell, "Would you stop passing this stuff around?" "Yeah, why didn't you give me anything?" said Helmeppo. "That's not what I said. Don't change the point, you idiot," yells Usopp. At this point, Garp would then bring out a picture and hold it up for everyone to see, saying, "You even got Vivian Vitari, huh?" "Is that an angel?" says Sanji, as his heart begins to pound upon seeing what seems to be a high-tech motorbike being driven by Vivi in Fullbringer gear. But they also noticed that Karoo must have transformed into that bike because they learned that somehow he was connected to her as her Fullbringer. She went final stage quicker than all of you." "Huh? What's the final stage?" yells Kobe. "When Fullbringers get strong enough, some activate Fullbringer wear. Not everyone can do it, but it's an ultimate form of sorts." "That is not the point here," Garp would say, as he puts away the picture while saying that they have become the most wanted people on the seas right now. Effective immediately, "Luffy, you're the 5th Emperor of the Sea. I'm sure Shanks and Mihawk are just itching to fight you." "Oh, congrats, Luffy," said Chopper. "Thanks. I guess we're getting more Marines, huh?" said Sanji. "I say bring it on," Zoro would say. "Then what about our bounties?" said Nami. "We're still working on them," said Garp, "but because you're my grandson, I won't attack you." You couldn't make a dent in Kyoga Suiketsu if you wanted, Grandpa. The two would then become more intense as Hamabu would then get between them, saying to stop as Kokoro and her granddaughter were present. Don't bring them into this. You become more authoritative, said Luffy. I mean, it figures. I have my own crew even, said Kobe. But I wanted to ask, why did you give me this power? It's too much. I found you interesting. Technically speaking, you were actually the first to ride on the seas with me. I wanted to give you a chance to do good. You have been doing that, right? Hopefully this hasn't gone to your head or something. Never. I've been doing everything. Everything I've been doing is just constant missions. Yeah, he did so much that the admirals were getting mad, and Marine said. However, Hamepa would then say the government could care less about its people. We've seen Commodore step over its citizens and writhing in agony, so Kobe just didn't care and kept doing what he could. Who are you again, Azor? Are you kidding me right now? He and Zoro would then begin to argue as Robin would then say that it figures, but it seems you don't care about their agenda, huh? You'll be chasing us one day. Getting embarrassed, Kobe would then laugh it off, but all the pirates could legit feel that he was strong. Maybe it was because Garp was so strict, but his power seems to be amazing. But then Garp says that he only came here to drop Kobe off at Hamepa because he wanted to catch up, and he would then turn saying he was leaving. Don't come back. Shut up, you brat. He would then stare back at them, at Luffy, and they just had a little stink eye moment for a while. But the Marine hero would then say, be careful. If Don and Maki are crying, it'll be on you. You know me. It'll be fine. Garp and his men would then leave as Franky would then run in, posing with the twins, as he said, holy crap, Marines were here to arrest you? Nah, it's more of a family reunion, said Nami. What's up? Franky would then take a seat, and he would then grab something out of his shirt and show it to everyone, which would be a bounty of 70 million, saying, well, it looks like I can't do anything now. I ain't got a choice. You're joining us? Awesome, said Chopper. Well, you guys really suck at taking care of your ship, so yeah. Hearing this allegiance, Luffy would then walk to Franky and would lightly punch him on the chest, and he would burst with Haki, and the twins are confused, but to a certain degree they understand what's going on. How could you just do that for us? Asked Usopp. From now on, I'll do that. You too, Robin. Walking in front of her, Luffy would then tap her stomach, and her Haki would then fully form, and Robin would then ask if she wasn't already becoming a Fullbringer, and Luffy would then say that he just wanted to speed up the process. You could do that the whole time, everyone yells. Okay, yeah, I really need meetings for this stuff. Agreed. Jeez, Luffy, said Kobe. What will Franky and Robin show as their Fullbrings? How will the Goro say fight back against Luffy? And what will the Straw Hats bounties be? Find out in the next part. It's been your boy, Prince of What Ifs, and I hope you enjoyed this part. Peace. I'm gone.
Yeah, you better listen. I'm bringing heat. You'll be a fan when I start rapping. Way I'll have your fucking head spinning. I'm known as spit vicious. Release bombs and go tick tick. Boom, you blown me that head missing. I'm a phenomenon. Stacking cheese like it's Parmesan. 8 different flows, call me Octomom. I'm moving fast like the Autobahn, and I'm independent, so I'm not your fucking.